We are recording, baby. We are. This is Cinematic Suffering. Hello, everybody. I am Jason.
I'm Clay. How y'all doing? You can't answer because this is not. It's not that kind of thing. Hold on, let me start that. Sorry. So technology. I'm Clay. That's Jason. We're Cinematic Suffering,
and this is special episode number 2 of Biddies and Chunkies. Oh, it's Bits and Chunks. That's what we're calling it, right?
Biddies, Chunkies,
Biddies and Chunkies.
Yeah, this is the. They're good for you.
This is what? Are you sure we don't have like a little delay going on here?
I don't think so. Here, let me see. Like, I don't. How do you test for latency?
Oh, here. Let me. I'll do it right now.
Maybe we do have a delay.
3.
1, 2, 3.
All right. Well, we'll count on 3. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
we're out of sync.
So we count on all right. So I don't know. Ask me something and then I'll answer the question and then you'll know.
Clay, how much is 2 plus 2?
4.
Right. So we got about a 3-second delay going on here.
Well, that sucks, donkey dick.
2 hours later.
Yeah.
Rika!
Are you back?
I'm back.
Okay. I don't think we have a latency anymore.
Okay.
Quick. What's 2 plus 2?
4.
Why that question, for fuck's sake? I don't know why I'm doing.
We're both mathematically R-worded, so
you fucking threw me for a loop for the 4 plus 2 thing, man.
I wasn't trying to.
I was like, let me get my calculator.
All right, so should we start again?
Or I'm leaving all this in. I'm leaving all of this in. Well, maybe
that is going to be thrilling for the audience too.
I'll cut some of it out, but
all right. Well, so as we may or may not have described or explained yet, these are some episodes that we do where they're just kind of off the cuff a little bit. We just kind of talk about the horror genre and what we've watched and our feelings on life and entertainment in general. So that's what we do here on the Bits and Chunks show.
Yeah, I think with this one, I was feeling a little inspired because last time, or you actually said you watched a couple of movies that were pretty good.
Yes,
but I had to scroll up through the messages just to find it because I remember you gave me the number, you gave me the names of a couple, so I was like, let me go up here and just see what he's watched. And one of them that I watched was Livid.
Nice.
And it's on Shudder, right?
Yeah, I recently, for the benefit of the podcast and my own entertainment, I got a Shudder subscription recently, and I should have just kept it because Shudder was where they premiered the "This Is Gwar" documentary,
right,
and like we're both huge Gwar fans. I'm a Gwar fan to probably an unhealthy degree, and if I really like something, I'll rewatch it like a child. You know how a child will rewatch Frozen a bunch of times.
Oh, yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
Well, so I've heard.
The random children that come into my home, we always put on Frozen.
Yeah, gets them to stay before the ether takes effect. But anyway, goddamn, we're gonna get shut down because of these fun jokes. But anyway, yeah, I rewatched that one over and over. But anyway, we're not talking about This Is Gwar. I could probably blab on and on about that. We're talking about
we could have a special episode on Gwar all by itself for sure.
Oh yeah, just the geek out on Gwar episode where I can bore people yet again with my small contribution to the Gwarverse. That's a good footnote. That's a good pin to put in that. But yeah, we're talking about Livid, which is a very different movie than Gwar.
Yeah, and Livid, I didn't realize it was a French film, and not that that's a problem. I was pleasantly surprised. In fact, I was very surprised by it because I guess in all what I thought of it once it ended, and there will be spoilers just in case anyone's curious. Maybe they want to go watch
Yeah.
this film before they come on here or listen to this. But
yeah, and definitely do that because it's a phenomenal movie. And don't even look at the thumbnail, by the way. It didn't mean to interrupt you, but the thumbnail on Shudder will ruin part of the movie for you. That alone, don't look at anything. Just go watch it.
Right, just go watch it. But if you're back and you've just watched it, I would have to describe it as just a vampire fairy tale, kind of a very dark vampire fairy tale. And even though it kind of centers around this one girl who's part of this trio of kids that try to break into this house or do break in the house, that it kind of revolved around her having a duality and two worlds. I mean, it started getting very esoteric near the end, especially the very end. But yeah, what did you think of it when you first saw it?
Oh, I had wanted to see it for years because my late brother was a huge fan of the directors, which are, I want to make sure I credit them, Alexandre Bustillo and Gillian Maury, which I'm probably just totally mangling their names, which I apologize. But their first, I believe it was their very first film. Their first, kind of major theatrical movie was called Inside. And I don't know if you've seen that one.
I have
that
seen
was,
Inside.
Yeah, that one was just a visceral, terrifying movie by the end. Just
I
really
kind
of
about that. Yeah.
gripping. Oh, do you? Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Please go
Excuse me. But he was such a huge fan of that movie. And I had, the guy didn't have the internet, and I told him that Livid was the follow-up movie, but for years you could not get that movie on Blu-ray or DVD. And
Right.
I don't know when Shudder got the rights for it, but I just happened to see it on there. And so I checked it out, and I loved it. I thought it was a really artful follow-up to Inside. Inside was artfully done, but that movie that relied on just kind of visceral terror and
Right.
just gore and
body horror.
Yeah,
extreme body
definitely.
horror.
Yeah, like it was one of those movies where I've heard I don't know what film critic wrote this, but this always stuck with me. I read that this film critic described the movie Audition by Takashi Miike as a breach of contract between audience and director, meaning like that was uncool what you put us through. Like that was there's kind of this understanding that most people that go into most movies understand that it's not going to go past a certain kind of line in the sand.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
Vague line in the sand. And Audition strode over that. Inside definitely did. Inside went, like, if you are touchy at all or like easily triggered, Inside is not the movie for you. I was kind of pleasantly surprised that Livid didn't do that. It kind of went in a totally different direction. With you could tell stylistically that the same folks were responsible for the movie, but gore wise, it's totally different.
Yeah, and there is a small amount of body horror in Livid, but it's not to the extreme that Inside was. And going back to Inside, my little story, the first time I saw Inside, it had just been out on DVD. It wasn't in Blu-ray at the time. My friends brought it over to the house, and he's like, oh, let's check out this film. And then another friend of ours showed up with his 12-year-old kid. And so his 12-year-old kid, how they're entering this stage where they think they can handle anything. They think they're tough boys and they think they're tough kids. And I was like, and so I didn't really think anything of it because I know the kid had watched horror movies before with his dad. And my friend Bob, he was just like, yeah, so go watch it. We didn't have any idea how viscerally horrific the film would be until that the stuff started happening on screen. And I mean, we're just sitting there jaw agape, just into this movie. And then you look over and this kid's got his head buried into his hands and he's curled up into the fetal position. And my friend Bob just starts laughing. And we thought, are you okay, dude? Are you okay? He's like, and he was shaking his head back and forth. I mean, he was fucking traumatized. And I we were kind of laughing it off, not really taking it seriously until the end of the movie when the kid just literally would not say anything. He's like, the dad was like, oh, I guess we're going to take off now. And we're like, okay, bye.
Yeah. Side note, don't bring your kid over anymore, man.
My God. No, I mean, the kid's now, grown. He's got children of his own, and so
Therapy twice a week.
He's therapy twice a week. So, but that's my little story of Inside, and seeing something or seeing that really one of my first kind of French films. I mean, I've seen High Tension, and God, there's I know there's several others. Oh, They or Them. It's Them, I think. Them is about this couple that goes to the French countryside in the woods, and they're terrorized by this group of children, and it's really suspenseful and gritty, like you would expect from one of those French horror films.
There's I think it was maybe early 2000s or late 90s French movie about this. I definitely can't remember the like the name of the movie, but there was some big beast in it. It was one of the first kind of like CGI monster movies, so it probably hasn't aged well, but it was really artfully done, and I can't remember.
Was it a French film?
It was a French film, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was this monster with all this armor on it and swords jammed in it and stuff.
Oh,
it was crazy. I don't want to give away the big twist on that one because I can't, like it matters. I can't remember what movie it was, but it was French.
Yeah. Definitely French.
Yeah. And then somebody in the comments will be like, no, it was a Swedish movie, you idiot.
When you think of like the early days of CGI monsters, I always think of that movie Host. From Korea.
Yeah. Well, The Host was that one I liked. I liked Host. There's a new one in my list. I think Blood Lake or something like that. The Thai movie that looked kind of interesting, but I've been burned on several Thai movies before. It's like they probably showed like all the monster you're going to get in the whole movie, but it looked pretty cool. So I'm going to check that one out at some point.
But back to Livid, I mean, like you said, it was just like I found with Livid, it was filmed spectacularly. I mean,
it was beautiful.
It was grim looking. It was dark. I mean, it was physically dark, but not dark enough where you couldn't see anything on the screen. It was and then the set decoration, whoever the set decorator and the artists were who set up the house, and all the old stuff that was lying around and how they did everything. It was just really, really good. I was just so impressed with it.
The music was beautiful too. It was, I mean, it's kind of almost like a positive stereotype that, French filmmakers, it's going to be more artful, but it kind of was. It was like it had this beautiful artfulness, and it really was, a dark fairy tale. And it was great. The body horror in it was one of those things that was, with vampires, you get like a certain carte blanche to kind of do things that would be wild, or just kind of totally take you out of the movie. If it was supposed to be a human character that those things are being done to, I kind of, oddly enough, that part where they showed you the vampire body horror was basically what we're talking about. Blade, I think it might have been Blade 2 comes to mind for a second. The one that Guillermo del Toro directed. Remember when they were in the vampire bar and their form of body modification is just like, whoa. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I love I thought the take on the vampire and Livid was, I mean, it was their own personal take on it. It still played to some tropes of it, but at the same time, they kind of took it to another level. What does I keep thinking of? I keep thinking of like let the right one in.
That was when we're like, kind of bouncing around to different foreign horror movies. That was a great one. I hated the American remake.
I didn't like the American
I thought it was terrible. Like the Chloe, what's her name? I thought she was okay in it.
I know.
Blanking on her. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know you're talking. Chloe's something. I know you're talking about. But
so I mean, she did fine, but like it was another one of those movies, and there's been countless of them where they didn't have to add CG, but they did, and it immediately ruined the movie. Like like everybody was and it's not a horror movie, but everybody was raving about The Revenant. And it was a fantastic movie. I'm no
the Leonardo
movie. Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay, yeah.
But that Scooby-Doo looking bear almost ruined the movie for me. I hated that fucking thing. I fucking hated it. Like, I would have liked the movie so much better if it had been a guy in a bear suit and they had just done quick edits to
Right.
cover that up. I hate that kind of thing. Like,
or maybe use the real bear just kind of attacking a fake something, a dummy or something packed with meat, or just tearing it or something.
and like, I'm not saying don't use CGI, but do it in a way to where we're not obvious of it. Like, maybe, that's a real good idea. Actually, you could have had him attacking, like, just put an elk carcass out and let him go eat you.
And you just see like the paws just coming up, and you see blood splatter, and it's jiving down, and they're all trying to get these cool shots of this bear actually on a rampage.
And then just B-roll close up of Leonardo covered in fake blood.
He's like, no, just split shots, not even in one shot. But I brought up Let the Right One In because it felt like it was kind of not a similar, it wasn't a similar path, but it just reminded me how in Livid there's I would say like a ghoul. That's what vampires usually call their assistants that brings them blood and everything.
Oh, the Renfield kind of character.
Yeah, the Renfield kind of character. And there was that one this older woman who's kind of, I thought she was a serial killer at the beginning. I was like, oh fuck, man. Because it shows her abducting a girl on a bike, and then you see the girl's body lying in this tub just covered in blood, and it was pretty brutal. But she's bringing her blood, bringing the older vampire blood to feed her, transfusing. I guess there were some things I wasn't clear on why the transfusions were happening, but why couldn't you just bring the person there and they can attack her?
It was kind of it was almost like Hospice for vampires. Which is very, very odd, because like this is kind of a wild kind of non sequitur, but I've noticed since we've had the channel that weird videos, which I'm all about it, but weird videos have been suggested to me, and one of them is this nurse, this chipper nice nurse that's telling you what to expect for your hospice experience. I'm like, I didn't request it, but
I think about the title of this episode.
Vampire Hospice. There you go. But that's what it was. It was like Vampire Hospice, and the Renfield kind of character in this Livid movie was bringing this hospice nurse,
right? Yeah, and that's
children.
That's what the older person in Let the Right One In was bringing the little girl, right? He was killing these people, and she would feed from the blood or something. Did he hang them up in trees or?
It was, as I recall, now that you bring up that movie, that it was a very similar theme, and it had that same kind of gut punch. And in Let the Right One In, it was almost more profound, because you come to learn that guy genuinely cares about the vampire character from the movie. Is this little girl. She must have been bitten when she was a kid, kind of the Interview with the Vampire kind of thing. And he's formed a genuine bond with her. Like, you could, like, this is a big spoiler too if you haven't seen Let the Right One In, but his story ends with him getting horribly burned intentionally to kind of throw the police off the track. Right. And then she feeds on him to kind of get him out of that situation. It was really a well done, heartfelt kind of moment. It's great. It's one of those movies that can only happen in a movie, that crazy scenario.
Yeah, I remember I read the book. I read the book before I saw the movie, but I feel that the movie, the Swedish version at least, kind of lined up with the book a little bit. Maybe with a little kid that she befriended. There's some stuff in the book that was odd that was written in the book. Like he would in the book, the little boy carried around a piss ball. He called it like a piss ball, and he like pee in this ball in his pants and like wad it up and throw it away. It was just the most fucking odd, disturbing behavior. I mean,
do you know if it was translated, or was it American?
It might have. I think it's I don't know who is the author of that. I think it might be.
Why do I ask like that?
Yeah.
Like that behavior is okay in any country.
I was just thinking, even no matter what, that can't you find some other kind of weird way to make this kid an outcast? Like maybe he likes horror movies.
You don't do piss balls in the States? What's wrong with you?
It was just an odd description of the weird behavior this little kid had, and I guess he'd always get beat up or something like that for when the kids found out about it. I was like, isn't there something else he can get beat up for than having a piss ball in his pants?
I'd kind of it's kind of like maybe he needs to be beat up just un pequeño. And I was bullied. I'm not a fan of bullying, but I also didn't have a piss ball.
Let's see. Let me add that to the title of this.
Piss
Hospice
ball.
for Vampires.
Piss balls. Immediate demonetization. YouTube says nay. Maybe someday we can get like sponsorship from somebody like Terror Threads, whose shirt I got, as you can see, it's Fulcio Zombies. Ooh, yeah.
I like
Terror
it. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't sponsored anything, and I paid for the shirt, so I owe them nothing. But,
what a sucker!
Yeah,
I can't believe you just gave them free promotion to the.
I know, and they'll be like, and I'll be like, "Can I have a free shirt?" And they'll say, "No." Can I have free shipping? No.
Now wasn't it Zombie was also called Zombie 2, right?
I don't know. I'm only familiar with the one that most of us in the States associate with Zombie.
Yeah, there's some
the shark biting the arm off the zombie.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, I know, and it's such a cool movie. But I keep thinking there's a history behind Zombie itself, the naming convention and the difference of why it was named a certain thing in Italy and it wasn't named something in the States. There's some big confusing thing.
I saw, and I know we're all over the place, but if you don't like it, you can kiss both of my nuts. That was not, we can, anyway.
And that'll be the last title we're adding to this.
I know, kissing both of Clay's nuts. That's a good thing to say. Yeah, that's a good way to really endear yourself to the audience. But I saw it in the theater when it was Zombie, Zombi, I think, I believe.
Right.
Either that or I'm conflating two different stories. But this is the one where they had the like the shark attack zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's definitely the one.
Yeah, but Terror Threads.
Hey, Terror Threads, you don't have to kiss our balls.
Yeah, not you. I wasn't talking to you. I was just talking. I was simply trying to alienate our very humble audience. Right? But anyway, back to somewhat what we were talking about. You mentioned Bring the Right One In, which is a great comparison to Livid. So if you want to go, if you want to make a triple feature of international horror movies, Thirst would be a good one too. Have you seen Thirst?
Thirst. Why does that sound familiar?
Chan-wook Park, Old Boy, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. Is Korean director, phenomenal director. I've loved literally every one of his movies that I've watched.
Okay.
They're all, in my opinion. I don't know that. I'm sure he's directed something that I haven't liked, that I wouldn't like, but every one of his movies that I've seen, even the real long ones that are kind of like, a butt-numathon to get through, are just phenomenal movies. And Thirst was no exception. Thirst was another one of these movies that, it's the same things that we loved about Livid and Let the Right One In, is, characters that you can really empathize with and like you really connect with the vampires on an oddly human level while they're doing horrific things in order to feed themselves. It really, all three of those movies really lean into the idea that what vampires have to do to feed is not romantic. It's not nice. It's slaughtering of humans,
right?
to sustain themselves.
Yeah, there's I see I'm kind of looking at the IMDb of it. It looks really cool. So yeah, it's definitely it looks very different. Yeah, but we're vampires in general. We've talked about it before, where I'm just a big fan of vampire movies and vampire literature, and seeing the different takes of the vampire myth throughout different cultures, and I see from Korea's got their own spin on it here. I mean, obviously Sweden and Asia, China does, and so and Indonesia has some whacked out crazy shit too. So but yeah, I always get a thrill out of it, because I'm always obsessed with immortality, and we talked about the deeper subject of living forever, and people say, can you you'll see all your loved ones die, and I'm like, I mean, I could get over it after 200 years.
I mean, it's something that I think about a lot too. It's one of those, I think that, kind of the whole vampire idea, the idea of immortality, and especially with vampires, it's like the trade-off of, the whole nocturnal thing would kind of suck a little bit for me. I would really miss being able to because the day is a lot longer than the night. So
I know exactly what it means. It's like, there's only like 9 hours of darkness, during the summer or something like that.
And
that would suck for sure.
Yeah, that part would suck. I don't know that I would ever get over, the moral aspect of it. Maybe after 200 years, and maybe it would just become like, this is just what I have to do to sustain myself. I don't know. I mean, I think it would be a tough one for most of us that aren't totally sociopathic.
Well, I mean, when you think of like Louis, from Interview with a Vampire, he was still obsessed with the human part of himself after 200 years. But give Louis like I can imagine other vampires just kind of jumping into the role immediately and embracing it, like Claudia did. And and then there's other vampires you just can't. So there's probably a period of adjustment, and so after a while you just become a total sociopath because it's what you do.
And I always love anytime you get into that conversation, it's inevitable that somebody says like, well, I would only feed off bad people, and it's like,
right.
Well, oh, come on, man. I mean, it's like
you're the Dexter of vampires.
Yeah, come on. You're talking about a lot of extra work. Like people's qualifications for what makes you a bad person would be like, you didn't close the door. That was pretty rude. Didn't hold the door for me.
You look delicious.
that for me it would be the kids that keep shutting down the pool in our local complex by destroying the patio furniture, so they shut down the pool for the whole community. I'd feed on them first.
It'd be for me the kids or not even the kids, the adults who ride their bicycle in the middle of the street in the middle of the HOA. Get the fuck out of the way. I'm gonna eat you now.
It'd be the dipshits that park their car out in the middle of the street. After a while, like my qualifications for just drinking people like a Sunny D pack would be.
Oh man, but I could talk all night about vampirism and immortality and stuff like that. But I guess we can probably go and start wrapping up this episode, though.
Yeah, it was a good. That actually had a pretty strong theme. We stayed more or less on track.
We did, and actually, this 30 minutes passed by pretty damn fast.
It does, as it should. Hopefully, it was as fun for everybody to listen as it was for us to engage in this. So.
And this will be episode 2 of this, but we still have some episodes uploading or getting sent out for the Cinematic Suffering actual movie review and commentary highlights and things like that. If anyone made it to the end of this episode, they'll notice that we are always saying check us out on Patreon with our videos. Obviously we're not on Patreon yet. That's all still in the works. But so that's why we're putting all these watch throughs on our channel, so you can hopefully line up and sync up and watch them just while they're here on YouTube.
Well, we're building up to it, and we're going to give everybody more and more reasons to, to watch those commentaries. We obviously we wear our inspiration on our sleeve, MST3K, Riff Track, stuff like that. We love those guys, and it's obviously a very direct homage to what they do, but we do it a little bit different because we're different people, and we're sticking to the horror genre, and so, if you like that stuff, I think you'll definitely like what we're doing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I guess that's about it. Hey, if I should have said this at the top of the video or wherever you're listening to this, if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, make sure you give us hopefully a 5-star review and rate us up on there. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, press the like button too. That always helps.
That's all right.
Until next time, thanks for joining us for Bits and Chunks. Our next, currently what's out right now is
At the Gates, beyond the Gates.
We can never
Beyond the Gates. We, for some reason, neither of us can ever remember the title of that movie.
So Beyond the Gates is out right now for your viewing pleasure. And coming up next week will be
either Devil's Island or it doesn't matter, because people come to these when they come to them. There's no specific order, but coming up soon, if you are watching in any kind of chronological order, we're going to be tackling Devil's Island, and after that is Death Metal, the movie Death Metal, which I know Jason and I are both looking forward to quite a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have the deep ones coming up. So
thank you.
Yeah,
and before that, the deep ones.
Yeah,
a Lovecraftian kind of accidental, if not somewhat intentional, comedy.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking by and coming and watching this and listening to it. We'll talk to you later. I'm Jason.
I'm Clay. Peace out.
Peace.